Good evening. Welcome to another fireside chat without a fireplace. I don't think we'll call this Worldwide Ramblings. We're not in the studio. Not that we couldn't call it Worldwide Ramblings. I don't think it'll be that long of a show as we sometimes do. But it's freezing up in that studio, and to try to get it warm would be an exercise in futility. Hi, Pam Donnelly. Don Stick Pam, you're first. How are you? Hi. Welcome. Quickly followed by Neo Neon. Hey, Tammy with an I is here with a yellow wave. Welcome to our pop on to pop off instead of worldwide ramblings on a Saturday night. We are awaiting this big storm. I don't know where you are. I know that they had some early snow in Oklahoma, I believe. So, well, look, here's even Ken Winters, the one person here that I've actually met at ShopRite and Brother Bruno's and what have you. How are you? Hello to Mrs. Winters. Um, I'm back here in the easy chair in the living room where the heat will come on periodically, and that's just a lot more comfortable. But we can do a lot of what we can do upstairs here. Hockey 92.7 FM. Hello, Hockey 92. Good evening, Jack and friends. I hope everyone is staying warm and safe. Yeah. I don't think our snow is supposed to start. They keep changing it. It's been everything from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And now I think they're saying 8 a.m. for the start. And then whiteout conditions by 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that. It'll go on into Monday. Go on into Monday. 13 watching right now. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Hockey 92. God bless you. Hits the thanks button for 19.99. That's a great encouragement to me. Believe me, it is. Especially when we're not in the studio, you know. Sometimes that makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. I can tell if someone hits the Cash App, but because that computer's on over there. At some point, I might have to get up though. So thank you so much, Hockey 92. So I forget where some of you live, so I don't know if you're in the snow band or not. Millions and millions of people are. Millions of people are. Do I have my specs here? Yeah, I do. Oh, somebody. There goes Empress Ambulance. Empress. They kind of replaced Mobile Life. And Mobile Life, the difference was that if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and there's nobody on the street, you might not need to hit the siren full blast. Just use your flashing lights, and then if you see traffic, then you could hit it or give it that little whoop, whoop, that kind of thing. But these guys love to blast it at 2 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody to be found. Carrie K8Y. No snow here, just cold 20s in the night. We'll definitely be in the single digits like we were last night. I slept on this recliner last night. I did. And all week long, it's single digits. I've never seen anything like this that I can remember. And this storm is the worst in decades, affecting the most people. I mean, my son is out near Austin, Texas, and they're going to have ice and some storms. He's already pretty sure he won't be working on Monday driving the big 18-wheeler, and I'm glad about that. I'm glad about that. And of course, I knew you would say this, Helen McDonald. Heat wave here. Do you never not have a heat wave once it's summertime? In Australia, 100 what? 113? 113 degrees Fahrenheit in Australia. That's horrible. I mean, that's the other end of horrible. That's worse than Phoenix, Arizona in the summer, just about, right? I think they get to like 101 or 2. Oh, but it's a dry heat. Do they say that there? Do they say it's a dry heat? Yeah, I mean, that's that's got its own kind of horrific. Although, you know, I don't complain too much in the summer because I realize that the winter weather really is what I dislike. Hobdob is here. We have a few flakes. Well, every community has a few flakes. I mean, we run into a few flakes here from time to time. But good to have Mr. Winters. Are you already there for the Hudson Valley storm? I mean, coming from Texas all the way here, that doesn't register, And I thought it was supposed to be like in the 30s or so when it snows, It's supposed to be warm. What happened to that? Now you can have major snowstorms when it's 12 degrees, 15 degrees, and less. Hello, Claudette. Good evening, Jack. Welcome. Deborah McGinty, good evening. Nice to have you aboard as well. And Hockey 92 is talking to Pam. Oh, Pam, please stay safe. You are in my prayers because Pam Donnelly said we have a state of emergency. Yeah, a number of states do. A number of states do. I'm messing with things here on the screen. Hello from Washington State. So you are not in the storm's path, Carrie, or you are? I don't know. Never been to Washington State. Um, been to Washington, D.C., but that's been quite a while, too. Hate driving in that beltway. Hate driving in that beltway. Up to 29 likes, please. Please let us know who you are, whatever handle you use, and where you're watching from. 5 likes, yeah. Please do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, like, and hit the notification bell. That'll let us, let you know when we come on to do a worldwide ramblings or a fireside chat like this, minus the fireplace. And if you're near your device and it's turned on, that is, Tammy and I have talked in the email about some of the crazy stuff in the Bob Joyce story. It's getting stranger. It's getting stranger all the time. By the way, those of you that have subscribed to BobJoyceMusic.com, how do you sign in? Because all I see is a how to subscribe button. Where's the just log in button? I'm looking for a button that says log in. How do you do that? Because if I go to BobJoyceMusic.com, I don't find a simple button that says log in. Boom. And then I put the code in that I have. You're saying, well, how come you didn't know that already? Because someone did it for me. It's just, call it the perks of the business. The perks of the business. I have seen a little bit of postings from the site, including Pastor Bob has started a blog, right? Started a blog. And it's interesting what he wrote in his first blog. Has anybody seen that? This isn't fake, right? This is real. You never know anymore. You never know with AI. You never know if you're looking at an authentic picture. Someone sent me a picture of Pastor Bob Joyce with Nicolas Cage in it. And it's a recent picture, you know. Pastor Bob looks like he does now, and I guess Nicolas Cage. Well, Nicholas has these little tricks to never look old either, you know. So I've got to learn how to sign into bobjoycemusic.com. Of course, I don't have the code with me. I couldn't do it here right now anyway. But I could do it later. Go back down further here. Here's Julia Joyce. Hi, Jack and family. Please stay safe. We're going to stay right here. That's the best way to stay safe. You know, it's like you don't go out on New Year's Eve because that's when all the drunks are out. That's where all the drunks are out. It's not. It's not the time you want to be on the road. You know, if you can find a place. Well, what we used to do is find a place that had a good band and a hotel and what have you. And this is who knows what marriage this was in. I think probably the first one. And but now the bands are all for younger people, and I don't want to hear rap. I don't want to hear all the other crap. So the band wouldn't be playing, nor would the DJ be playing most likely my favorite tunes. Miles Wright is here. How are you? Real estate executor or whatever. I never say it right, do I? How you doing, Miles? Are you in the path of the storm? Are you going to be experiencing some bad weather? The weather says 24 and snow. Yes. Yeah, I forget exactly where you are, Neo, but this storm is affecting a lot of people in a lot of different places. Um, I don't know if it'll make it to Canada, where that Carney guy is. We got another prime minister in Canada that's no friend of the United States. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway, our emergency, you want me to pronounce this? I've never seen this word in my life. Mama Ferment team. What the heck is that? I don't think you meant to write management. I'm going to have a tickle, which I always get, and I don't have a cough button. Almost knocked the lamp off because I tried to pull the phone away from me, so it wasn't a full force cough. Am I charged up enough? I can't even see how much I'm charged, but I think I am. I think I remember. Yeah, we'll be okay. I can unplug. So we don't have to worry about me pulling the lamp off. Excuse me. There's nothing I can do to. Yeah, lifesaver. Yeah. That'll help. We seem to have a shortage of cough drops, so I think I have a couple left in this studio. Gotta get some more. Dry heat where I am in South Australia. It gets very humid up north. Right. I cannot type management. Oh, it was management. Okay, well, I feel better now because I thought there was this world that I've missed. There is a world that I've missed. That chair is too squeaky. I thought there definitely have been worlds that I've missed all my life. Polka Sean, I just saw, he's on the last day of the cruise, the Jimmy Sturr Polka cruise. They're headed back towards Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They will arrive some obscene hour, like 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And all the staff will be put up in a hotel, the staff that wants to be, that doesn't live in Florida, which is most everyone. I think Jimmy stays down. Jimmy Sturr stays down in Florida for a while. He ain't no dummy, you know. Why would you want to come back in January to New York? But he comes back before they actually return to Florida to do three polka dates: Strawberry Festival in Plant City, and then St. Petersburg, Florida, the next day, and then Port St. Lucie, Florida, on a Saturday, and then they fly back here after that. So Polka Sean is going to be staying at a hotel. It looks like for at least 2 nights in Fort Lauderdale now, because first they canceled their Sunday afternoon flight, and then they canceled the Monday afternoon flight. This is serious stuff, this storm. So airports will be shut down. Airports will be shut down. We have an emergency disaster declaration. I put the word disaster in there, here in Marengo, Indiana. All set for the morning arrival of snow, says Ken Winters. Yeah, we're just going to ride it out. I've spent the last week jealous that I wasn't on the Polka cruise. And Anne is here. Hello from snowy Arkansas, where there will be no church service in Benton tomorrow. We did a separate video on that. My buddy McDaniel is here. How are you? Hello. He's in the same neck of the woods, right, buddy? You're in Arkansas as well. Maybe you live right next door to Ann. You never know. Hi, buddy. Welcome. Look at that. 54 watching right now. Pam, I have family in do you say Cello or Cello? We have Monticello, New York, which is the Catskill Mountains. We go to Monticello a few times, well, more than maybe 4 or 5 times a year to go to the Wombo Chinese buffet and go to Walmart up there. It's a less frantic, hectic Walmart than the one here. Of course, all the Walmarts have been crazy, go nuts for the last few days. People, you got to make sure you have at least 200 rolls of toilet paper and buy so much milk that the next person won't get any, That's how it works. Stores have been running out. So Tammy is saying she has family in Monticello and Munster, like in Eddie Munster. It is just it's southern Indiana. Is it just southern Indiana or the whole state? Here's Fancy Nancy. Fancy Nancy DeMarco from Oklahoma. Good evening, Jack and family. Freezing here in Tulsa. Yeah, it's been freezing everywhere. But you've already had some snow, haven't you? Carrie, where my girlfriend lives, 2 seasons of raining and summer in the Philippines, huh? I think I'd rather have that. I may have a half brother in the Philippines with the very same name that I have. I was always told that, but it was never verified. And since my dad died when I was 11, I never got to have that sit-down chat with him about my brother. Video fireplace. Well, that works, Ken Winters. Yeah. We don't even, well, Karen actually has a fake-looking fireplace upstairs. She does, which is pretty, and it's also a heater. Todd Bradshaw, the Tennessee Titan, I know they're getting some bad weather. I don't think it's started yet, has it, Todd? But it's coming. I mean, they're going to even have a little bit in Florida and definitely in Georgia. There's going to be ice in Georgia. Todd says, hello, Jack. Good evening. Hope everyone is warm and safe. I'm I'm on my recliner tonight, so it's just freezing in that studio, and to try to get it warm, and it's costly. So better to better do it this way this time. It's not going to be any better Wednesday in terms of the temperature all week long. 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees, 9 degrees at night. I don't remember this kind of a stretch. We're doing everything we can to keep the feral cats warm. Karen almost got the cat we call Nicholas Blair in because he came in halfway once and then ran right back out, you know. Um, I don't know if we got to get a pretty female kitty in here or something like that to lure him in. um, so she tried to kind of pick him up and put him in, and that's when he scratched her. And that's not the first time that's happened. And if he did come in and you shut the door before he could get out, then he'd freak out. It would be it would be like you're watching the ladies of the View, ladies on the View. Right now, just our area, Tammy, but on radar we are central. Uh huh. Okay, send me that login link and hopefully it will work, Tammy, because I got to get on there. I have the code, but when I don't see any button that says log in. That's what I'm expecting to see, and I don't see it. So you were the one. Well, maybe I shouldn't say what I was going to say. I don't want to say something you intended to be private. Um, it's a pain in the butt to get to. They definitely have some bugs to work out. I see. All right, because I want to be able to, give my take on what I see on there. You just go to bobjoycemusic.com and you'll see how to subscribe to exclusive content, video and other special things behind the scenes stuff. And I think you'll get a heads up on some of the concerts. I think he's going to do at least 2 concerts with his management company. Feels funny to say that, LWC Media. He's given a thumbs up to do 2 concerts this year and 2 concerts next year. But then this year there's a 3rd concert, which I've done 2 videos on this already. I got to take the current one down because now that's wrong. It's still happening, but they moved it to May. This is I guess it's already known that Sabrina is putting this together. Sabrina McDonald Joyce Shapiro. I don't. She's got a lot of names, and so first it was supposed to be Little Rock, which is perfect, perfect. All the concerts should be near an airport. All the concerts should be near an airport. You got people in their 70s, you got people in their 80s. Suburbs, 26 miles away to Cabot. I don't mean to be a complainer, but that's a challenge for someone that was just gonna come in and use public transportation to get to the concert, get to their hotel. In other words, Uber, taxi, whatever, and then Uber over to the concert venue. But it's supposed to be the Baptist Church in Cabot now, which is 26 miles out from what I saw, 26 miles out. Now, the first time I heard about this, they said a big church. Well, I don't know how many Baptist churches there are in Cabot, but if it's St. John the Baptist church, it looks like a beautiful church. 150 seats? 150? There were a lot of people that would have went to Coleman, Alabama if there were more seats. So we got to start thinking more seats. And it really needs to be, one of the biggest problems with Benton is it's so far from the airport in Little Rock. It's so far from the airport. That's why people drive more than they might if it was right. Say if Household of Faith was in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm just saying. I know that's never going to happen. The people want it right where it is. Of course, I understand. You bought the property, and that's where the people are that have been going there for years. They don't want to lose their church. But that's it's even a little further out now than it was before in the new location. And my honest reaction when I saw that it wasn't Little Rock, that it wasn't a big church. If it's St. John the Baptist, it's only 150 seats, and it's 26 miles outside of Little Rock. I don't get that. I don't get any of that. So, Belinda Taylor, you only come on when I'm on my phone these days, huh? I got to be on my phone. Something compels you when I'm on my phone. How are you, Belinda? What's been going on with you? It was confusing to log into his member music thing. Blog is real. So, I only saw someone sent me just a little bit of the blog, like the first few lines. And gee, I don't want this to be. Boy, he was nasty last night, Jack. Did you hear him? He's complaining about the church not being big enough, that it being too far away from the airport, and he's being nasty. I don't want to be nasty, but I also don't want to be dishonest with you. If Pastor Bob Joyce had two sisters, and they went to an Assembly of God church with two sisters, then he's not Elvis Presley. We've solved the mystery. Done. He's not Elvis Presley. You can't have it both ways. And it can't be anything other than if he is, the two sisters thing just doesn't work. That's the easiest way I can say avoid the other word, and then in the first few lines, he said something about, people, the Pentecostal form of worship. I certainly have nothing against that. I used to love Jack Hayford. He was a real Pentecostal. But boy, there are many, many, many actors and the people who get right into the acting, faking, speaking in tongues. Oh, I've seen that. I was in an Assemblies of God church. The woman behind me went from alternating between speaking in tongues and yelling at her kids. She had it all in the, she never missed a beat. She'd speak in tongues during the praise and worship, and then she'd yell at the kids. She'd go back and forth. So there's a lot of malarkey there. But there's the real thing too. And Paul never said that the gifts of the Holy Spirit would end when the last apostle died. I know the Baptists, some Baptists believe that, but so I'm not saying anything against the gifts of the Holy Spirit. When it's real, it's real. Now, if someone gets up and gives a prophecy, I think this you could support this with scripture. Starts giving a prophecy, and it's not followed by someone that's been given a gift of interpretation to tell you what they just said. What they just said was fake. I believe that there has to be someone who can interpret the tongues. There's two different kinds of tongues. There's the prayer language, and there's the speaking a prophetic word. And even then, they shouldn't do it without the permission of the pastor. I've seen that too. I've seen them wrestle the service away from the pastor, and instead of the pastor stopping them immediately, he let it go. Or they use prayer time. Most pastors know not to have public prayer, where this happens a lot in small churches, and it can be fine. But if you get somebody in there that comes in with a chip on their shoulder and uses prayer time to scold the congregation, I've seen that a number of times in this one church that I used to go to. This is why people stop going to church. they see these Christians are they're just whack jobs. They're whack jobs, you know. I've seen all kinds of the bad and I've seen all kinds of the good, and I've always been the first to admit that in any church I've ever been in, I fell short myself in my personal walk with Jesus Christ. So I don't know what to do about the two sisters thing. As you guys know, there's no way I see that guy with the dark hair and beard transforming into the current pastor that married Willinda Hattie in 1975. I just, it's like asking me to say Michael Caine turned into Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen. No, they don't look alike. They're totally different. I can't believe that would be possible. I know what Michael Caine looks like, even in his old age, and I know what Ian McKellen looks like, and you can't tell me Michael became Ian. I can't buy that. What do you think, Ken Winters? I'm like, instead of being the angry young man that Billy Joel sang about, I sound like the angry old man, but I'm a little frustrated with some of what I saw, you know, and I want an answer, and we deserve an answer, and it shouldn't be in a book when somebody dies. That's ridiculous. Um, you get on his email list first. Oh, to be on the blog? Then I'm going to have to rely on somebody else telling me what the blog says. The blog isn't on bobjoycemusic.com then, right, Kenny? Okay. I thought it was. What else do we have? Yes, I saw the blog. He talked about his sister. Right. Well, then he's not Elvis Presley. We've solved the issue. Let's move on to can Stevie Wonder really see after all? There's no way that would work. There's no way that would work. Jackie Organ. Hi, Jack and everyone from Oz. How you doing, Jackie? I'm just ranting a little bit tonight, but I don't mean to. I'm just saying things that I looked at that kind of surprised me this week. Jay Pugera is here. Hi, Jack. 12 degrees tonight in North PA, Northeastern PA, are you saying? Is that why the NE? Remember, I only have a GED. Well, here she is, Elaine Peterson. Check the Firefox. How are you doing, Elaine? Are you cold where you are, Elaine? Do you have... And who's that? Elaine Peterson has hit the Cash App? Well, thank you very much, Elaine Peterson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Hockey92, who's just under you here, hit the thanks button for $19.99, and I appreciate that very much. Here's Marty Greco. Hello, Jack and all, from the Ice Age in Oklahoma. Right. Nancy didn't tell me too much, Fancy Nancy, but I think she had snow earlier. Excuse me, I cannot hit a cough button because I don't have one. So it's real cold, and are you expected to get a lot of snow? We could get as much as 18 inches or more. Airports are going to close. Justin Battinger is here as well. Hello, Jack. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. Julia Joyce is talking to Tammy. Yeah, really? He has a sister? This is what he says in the blog. This is what he says in the blog. You know, and a few weeks ago, he said he was talking about the Lamb's Book of Life. And I believe Pastor Bob is a sincere preacher. This story I can't figure out at this point at all. Some of it, some of it. Um, but he was talking about his name is written in Lamb's Book of Life, and he pretended he was writing Robert Wayne Joyce. Well, you could say, yeah, he took the name. He, like Saul became Paul, he became Robert Wayne Joyce the second. The second. Not like Thurston Howell. What was Thurston Howell? The third? I'm not sure. Jim Backus, Gilligan Island? Yes. Um, so so that's possible. But in a very guarded, not really a very clear denial in 2017, which I think Household of Faith kept up on their website. He, without ever mentioning the name Elvis Presley, he indicated that he's Bob Joyce, always been Bob Joyce. So I don't know what to think, Marty. Help me, Marty. Forget about Rhonda. Help me, Marty. Help me, Marty. Help me, Rhonda. Marty. Rondi. Carrie says, I heard Pastor Bob has a book coming out. Yeah, that's what we've been hearing for years. But not going to be released until after he passes away. Then don't bother. But you know how internet is. Yeah, right. We attribute this to something Pastor Bob said, and we don't know that he said that, or one of his representatives back then said that. That doesn't comfort anybody hearing that. That would be the wrong way to do it. Regina Terwilliger, I missed the first. Where are you, Jack? I'm not sure. At my age, I'm a little confused sometimes. I think I'm in the state of New York, though, but I'm always in a state of confusion as well. So I'm like, I'm not tri-state, but I'm trice. What am I? I can't be bi-state. That doesn't sound right. Justin says, we are getting hammered in Evansville, Indiana. Okay, so it's headed this way, I guess. Jack, remember when Blue Oyster Cult would play in Middletown? I guess I do. I know there was a tribute band, though, but they themselves came to the Paramount, right? I saw a number of people at the Paramount Theater, the Grassroots with Rob Grill before he passed away. He had a cane because he had had a skiing accident. But they said Rob just wasn't going to miss Middletown. He just wasn't going to miss it. He'd blow off Madison Square Garden, but he got to come to Paramount Theater. Of course, the only way he would have been able to play the MSG, Madison Square Garden, at that point is if he did it with like 2 or 3 other bands, because it was many years after their last hit. Pastor Bob said he first heard his favorite song. Oh, yeah, this is another thing. Yes. First heard his favorite song in the 50s, then quickly changed his mind and said 60s. If he is 72, he would have been a baby in the 50s, or say 74. I think we're up to about 74 now because he keeps having birthdays. Robert Wayne Joyce. And then, of course, there are the people that send me stuff and have for years that Robert Wayne Joyce died in a car accident. And I sure hope that's not true, but I have heard it enough times. Todd Bradshaw is speaking to Elaine. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that whole thing with that song, Jesus, Jesus, save me from sin. There's a clip that somebody put up. It could be from Bob Joyce Music. This is going to become a problem, by the way. People are going to be putting up clips, and will they put up the whole thing? And that could lead to them getting a copyright strike. But uh, he uh, he was talking about the song seemingly in two different ways. That song. What's the exact title? Does somebody know the exact title? Because people say Jesus, Jesus, save me from sin is the title, but that's not the title, right? Um, the one where he sounds very much like Elvis, very much like Elvis. And he sang that before, and then he did it again in the Safely Home CD. What is wrong with that chair? Um, Time for a new chair. And they're not cheap. You go into Staples and a really good chair, a decent office chair is $1,000 or more, you know. But what you have to do is get it at a yard sale, get it at a garage sale. That's what you have to do, and that's where we got this one right over there. Um, so he seemed to indicate that he wrote the song. Now Elvis Presley, as far as I know, didn't write songs, right? Didn't write lyrics, and but it seems like I don't know if this is the same clip or a different clip. In one clip, he's saying that he wrote the song himself. And then in another song, he's saying he heard it when he was a little lad and liked it right away and knew he wanted to do it. Now, am I dreaming all this or is this true? Can anybody verify what I'm saying? And the last thing I want to do is get Pastor Bob mad at me. But I mean, there's these things out there that obviously are causing some people to become upset. They're causing some people to become upset, and I don't know why people leave the church. I mean, I may know a little something, but I would not violate the trust. But more than one person have told me about somebody who's missing from Household of Faith, and said it right here in the live stream. And once it's kind of like the thing um, with the Lisa Marie funeral card when that was sent to me as to the order of service for the private, not to be in any way confused with the public memorial that happened a few days after the passing of Lisa Marie. Pastor Bob Joyce preached opposite. It was a Sunday that they held that public memorial, and Pastor Bob Joyce, of course, preached opposite it. He did not go to the public memorial. The guy that helped Priscilla on the stage or off the stage also had the Kenny Rogers look, but he was lanky. He was lanky. He was lanky like Ted Danson, lanky like J.B. Smooth. Have you seen that phone commercial I'm referring to? Uh, J.B. Smooth thinks that Ted Danson wants to talk to him about joining the Lanky Men Club. The Lanky Men Club. But he's doing a commercial for Consumer Cellular. Yeah. I love it when these big stars say that they joined because one of the reasons was they wanted to save a bunch of money. It's kind of like when Ice-T does the car shield. This one doesn't air anymore, I don't think, but he's standing in his garage with like $8 million worth of cars, and he's so happy that he's got car shield to protect his babies. Who writes this stuff? I don't know. So yeah, there's some confusion about that. Helen McDonald, Pastor Bob said he first heard his favorite song in the 50s, then quickly changed his mind and said the 60s. If he is 70, let's say he's 73, 74, because he'd have to be by now. Uh, would it fit if he was older though? I don't know. There's a question about that song now. We've got to look into more, I suppose. There's a question about that song. But the Two Sisters thing really threw me. It really threw me. Because I'm at the point where I feel that Pastor Bob Joyce is in the Presley bloodline for sure. For sure. And also, I feel he's not that guy with the dark hair who married Willena Hattie in 1975. I don't see how I can. Uh, my fellow creators don't see it either. I'm not talking about the British gentleman because he believes we're all full of donkey dust. But I'm saying that uh, he's in the Presley bloodline. So now, if he's not Elvis Presley, he's either the love child of Vernon or the love child of Elvis himself. Oh no, I know what you're saying. Somebody's saying it. I can see your lips moving. It's Jesse. It's Jesse. I just don't think so. But wouldn't it be a hoot if it was? That would be a hoot. That would be a hoot. This is so confusing that Kurt Russell will look at the script and say, I can't play this role. It's too confusing. The audience won't understand it. It's too far out. It's too unreal. It's just too much to believe. And then people want to make it crazier and say there's four brothers, one named Tony, one named this, one named that, one named Jesse, of course, and of course, Elvis Aaron Presley. So were you a big Blue Oyster Cult fan, Ken? You know, sitting up there at the Wall Castle in the 80s, I played Don't Fear the Reaper, and that is the extent of my Blue Oyster Cult, a great song. That was the extent of my Blue Oyster Cult knowledge. Never latched on to anything else they did. They never really, that I can recall. They had one other song, of course, but that got some attention. But I don't, I don't know any of their album cuts, you know. So I saw the Grassroots. I saw, who else did I see? I've seen the oldies bands like Larry Chance and of course the Coasters this past December, but no original Coasters. Come on. Um, and who else did I see there that was very good? I saw the late great actor Pat Hingle play Thomas Edison there. He was fantastic. I wasn't going to miss that. I knew who Pat Hingle was. Did a ton of movies. Did a lot of theater too, and he was wonderful. Um, March, Andy Cooney is going to be there, the Irish tenor, and he has the definitive wedding song. If you're going to dance with your daughter, it's called "Dance with My Daughter." And it's beautiful. I wish I could say that I danced with my daughter to that song, but it wasn't meant to be. I was at the wedding, though. I was at the wedding. Um, Let me go down further here. So, someone whose name begins with A retracted their message. Elaine is saying hello to Marty. Hockey 92 is saying hello to Jackie from Australia. Pam is saying we will be getting, oh, that's Justin Battinger, right? We will be getting what you are in about 20 minutes. Wow. Brenda Sweeney, mom of Sydney Sweeney, is here. Hi, Brenda Sweeney. Welcome. You can actually see Todd, Hockey 92? You can see that big fluffy white beard, can you? Huh. Well, look, Team SWAT. Katina Swatsworth, we're having our fireside chat here in the recliner. I did not want to go up to that freezing cold studio tonight. Won't be any better on Wednesday either. We're in for a whole week of single-digit temps at night and 15 degrees, 20 degrees during the day, maybe 25. How are you, Katina? What's going on with you? Not bad here in Alabama, huh? That's right. That's right. You weren't too far from Coleman, Alabama. I think you had a drive, but Buddy made it down there for the Thursday meet and greet. Um, he had to work on the night of the concert, and tickets sold out very quickly. How many seats were in Coleman, Alabama? Anybody know how many seats there were? Because if they're playing in Cabot at the St. John the Baptist Church, I see it listed as 150 seats. So I don't know. That's not enough. Might as well just say the truth. Might as well just say the truth. My phone dropped out for a few minutes, but I'm back now. I mean, imagine, you know, people. Uh, I mean, first of all, anywhere in Arkansas is a lot easier for people to get to the church than if you're in New Jersey or if you're in France or if you're in England or Ireland or any land, you know. So um, they're going to swipe up the tickets. The Arkansas people are going to swipe up the tickets. So when they announce them, it's going to go fast. It's going to be like you're trying to see Elton John. So, or Taylor Swift. That would be good. Yeah. So I think we need a central place where everybody can come see Pastor Bob Joyce that he hasn't been to lately. So I think we've got the perfect place. Donny Osmond, 68 years old, is going to retire from his Las Vegas residency in, I think, May. He's going to do his last chain of concerts. And Bob Joyce can take over Donny Osmond's spot at Harrah's. Although Harrah's is, kind of the old hotel. We actually stayed there one night. We stayed 2 nights at the Excalibur. This is 1998, in my first marriage. We stayed at the Excalibur, and then we got a cheaper deal at Harrah's, and we stayed there one night. So how about Bob Joyce takes over Donny Osmond's residency? He does something like, is it 26 weeks a year? Not, you just won't do Sunday. That's all. And you'll do a Saturday matinee. That's it. That would be something. Would he be able to fill it? Well, depends. Depends. But I want to make it clear I'm not wearing Depends yet. Not yet. Keith Richards said to Howard Stern, they were talking about getting old, and Keith said, I'm just waiting for the diapers. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Still no polka. Hontus? Oh, Neo, you do travel to the beat of a different drummer. I'll say that much. Elaine lives in an older home just like I'm in right now. How old is this home? 100 years old? I'm not sure. I think not quite yet. I don't know. Katina is saying hi to Hockey and Todd. Thank you. Yes, I'm doing good. I hope you are too. Hope Catrice is doing okay, Katina. How's Dad doing? Dad's had issues. He sleeps in a recliner like I'll be doing most of this week, I think. Um, Helps his breathing out, right? Can he get sound sleep? I don't get 8 hours, that's for sure, in a recliner. I don't. I don't get 8 hours anyway, so not usually. I go to bed too late sometimes. Miles left and he's back. Welcome, welcome, welcome back, Miles. And yep, 16 in Atkins, Arkansas. 16 in Atkins, Arkansas. Pam Inslee is here, our second Pam of the night. We have like four Brendas, but I don't see Brenda Noyce here, do I? I don't see Brenda Sage here. And there's one more that's not here. Hello, Nancy. We're freezing here in West Tennessee, too. Oh, my goodness. So if you're freezing, Todd is freezing, I'm pretty sure. And so many places getting extreme weather, that, or will be, and they can't handle it in Texas. They have some kind of salt trucks they come out with, and it's been out for like a day or two trying to, you know, um, prepare the roads for the coming storm. But ultimately, the trucks don't even go out. They don't want to have disasters out there. They don't want to have disasters out there. And you've always got these truckers who think can go, 60, 70 miles an hour in bad weather conditions. And that can cause terrible, terrible accidents. Munster, Indiana, spelled like Eddie Munster, like Herman Munster, Lily Munster, and was Marilyn a Munster too? I guess she was. She was the plain one, Marilyn. And Eddie Munster, he's 72 years old. That's Butch Patrick. He has been here to this city. Have you seen him, Ken Winters? Have you seen him? He's been here. He goes to Rock Fantasy, which is now moved to a different location, but it's still in downtown Middletown. And then he goes over to the Middletown Lanes, which is now Quinn's Pins. Quinn's Pins. And for a certain price, you can bowl a game with Eddie. You can bowl a game with Eddie Munster. He's done that a number of times. A little different than going to fan conventions, He does that too. That's just how they make money, fan conventions and things like that. Some of the bigger stars just go to the fan conventions because they enjoy it, like William Shatner has been known to do. So did you see? William Shatner in that famous photo that appeared online with him? I guess he's waiting in traffic and he's eating a bowl of cereal. He's eating a bowl of cereal, and someone said Raisin Bran, and he responded, "That's right, it's Kellogg's Raisin Bran. That's what you need at my age, Kellogg's Raisin Bran." So we all know what's going to happen next, right? I mean, the executive of Kellogg's probably stubbed his toe as he ran to the phone to say to his secretary, "Get me William Shatner's management on the line." So Karen feels that not only will he be doing Kellogg's commercials now for Raisin Bran and whatever, but he will be on the box. Her prediction is William Shatner will make the box of Kellogg's Raisin Bran. So we'll see if she's right. We'll see if she's right. So when he does fan conventions, he gets a huge line, and he's $120, but he's William Shatner, and you get a picture with him. He's not getting up. You're going to sit down next to him. He's not putting his arm around you. Don't you try it either. But he'll look at the camera at least, and there's your picture. And he'll chat a little bit. Please don't ask him the crazy questions he's been asked a million times. At least that's what he's hoping for, And but I love the unexplained. We watch it all the time, and they've got the unexplained zone. He's kind of got like his own channel, but sometimes they run other spooky shows on there too, like that. What's that actor's name? Danny Trejo, is it? You know who I mean. He's in a, huh? He's not ugly. He's got a character actor's face. Danny Trejo, however you say it. He's been in a lot of movies and TV shows, and now he hosts his own little spooky show, unexplained type show, and I've only seen a little bit of it. Jack, says Todd Bradshaw, thankfully it's staying north of lower East Tennessee, so no worries. Wow, that's a big dodge right there. That's a big dodge. And I'm not talking about a pickup truck. A little bit of freezing rain tonight. I'll take it. Yeah. And then what will the temperature be tomorrow? What will the temperature be tomorrow? -2 on Wednesday, says Regina. There's been a number of people that have had temperatures well into the negative zone. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to make the negative, but we've been real close. We've been real close. Helen McDonald, OMG, says Jackie Organ. That's dreadful. I missed something there. I hope you have your aircon on. Aircon. Aircon. What is that? A criminal that flies an airplane? Air conditioner. Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys got 113 degrees or something. Can you believe that? It's unfathomable. Where is Gloria tonight? Gloria, yeah. She usually makes it, but she does miss a few shows here and there. And I understand. I totally understand. People have lives. I totally understand that. I'm blessed and surprised every time I look up. And right now we've got 55 watching, but only 21 likes. Please hit the like button right now. I guess that makes a difference in who sees us or whatever. I understand the subscribe button definitely can bring us into a different, higher amount of people seeing us. Right now we're at 11,300 plus subscribers. But if I say, I want to say something about today, but you never know. You never know. Annette Turner, hi. Where are you watching from, Annette? Are you in the path of the storm? Are you in the path of the storm? Todd talking to Miles Wright. You should see the things he's discovered in these houses that he goes through to get them ready for sale, I guess, or to to prepare it for the real estate. What am I trying to say, Miles? Not get it ready for the estate, right? State, so they can inspect it and then they can divide who gets what. Who gets what? Here's somebody brand new. David McMahon is here. And there's an extra. I think it's still McMahon. Is it David? A bit boring. We've got someone who doesn't like us. Why? Out of all the great stuff I get, I got to get someone that isn't going to like this. I can't believe I get so little of it, though. I mean, but it tends to happen when I'm on the phone, which is, the way it is. But I'm sorry you find that, David. This is talk radio. I don't know how old you are. I'd be curious to know how old you are if you want to tell me. I don't know if you remember who Rush Limbaugh was, but that man, and you'll say, well, you're no Rush Limbaugh, and I'm going to totally agree with you. But he could turn on that microphone and just start to talk, and he could hold an audience of somewhere around 25 million people by just talking into a microphone. Eventually, he'd play some sound bites of the news events that he was talking about, and then eventually he'd go to phone calls, but he rarely had a guest. Rarely had a guest. If he had a guest, it could be the President of the United States, so he couldn't turn down, So, I'm sorry. But if you're young, it's, because when I read the details of my stats for my channel, my appeal for audience members that are 0 to 25 is 0. 0. I used to be a young man myself, a young rock and roll DJ with a big permed afro playing the rock and roll, and young ladies calling me on the request line, stuff like that. I remember those days. But you don't stay young forever, and if you are young now, cherish it, because before you know, you'll be 40, and after that, it goes real fast. It goes real fast. I got a devotion from the Bob Joyce music. When you say you got one, what does that mean? You read it or what? Here's another Kenneth. We have two Kenneths. That has never happened. We have Kenneth Winters and Kenneth King. King. That's a family name of mine. I don't think I'm related to you though. But my nieces are Carol King, not the Carol King, Patty King, and Susie King. And my nephew is Michael King. That my half sister married Frank King. And I don't even know if my half sister's still alive. I wish I did. If she's watching this, maybe she'll chime in. I didn't say her name, see? Someone will make that name up. Kenneth, old socks too? We're talking about old socks. Is that your cat? Your 15-year-old cat? Tammy Griffin. Julius Joyce. That's what he said. Something about when he and his sister were small and attending a Pentecostal church and an Assemblies of God church. So what do we do with that? I'm getting tired of trying to do mental gymnastics, although on the other hand, it's good for a guy my age to do mental gymnastics. So I just gave you kind of my gut reaction tonight. So that's better than giving you a fake reaction, right? Jeff Parker, Madison Square Gardens. Well, you got to take off the S on that. What about MSG, huh, Jeff? Have you been there? And that doesn't look like a Jeff there, does it? Maybe. I don't know. It's a small picture. Uh, if you went to Madison Square Garden, who did you see there? Oh, you mean for Bob Joyce to do a concert? Is that what you're saying? Perhaps, perhaps, perhaps. Um, it's a nightmare getting out of Bethel Woods after a concert. Yeah, it can be horrific. That's why I walked out during the close of the last time I'd ever get to see Donna Summer. I only saw her once, and I knew that she was going to end the concert with Last Dance. I'm not stupid. So we were halfway. We were standing up, and we could still see her as she started to sing it. And halfway through the song, we quickly walked to our car and got out of there because it would have been just to get out of the driveway, it would have been about an hour and 15 minutes because we were parked up close. That's another trick, but they don't want you to do that to parking people. They want everybody to park up close that comes in first. So if you come in later, you have a much easier chance of getting out quickly if you've got to walk a distance to your car. But you knew all that, didn't you, Ken? Who did I see at Bethel Woods? I saw Hall & Oates, saw the but the Google Dolls, right? The Google Dolls. And Dylan with my son. Saw Bob Dylan at Bethel Woods. This is years ago, but definitely did. Now, sometimes I got to go free because I work for WVOS FM, and they would give us tickets, but not always. They made it real clear when Elton John announced that he was coming to Bethel Woods that they weren't going to have tickets for us. And he sold out in 3 hours, I think, something like that. 2 hours, 3 hours. That was impossible to get. Of course, she's got the air conditioning. But I'm taking my dog to the vet in about an hour, really. Yeah, it's afternoon time there, right? In Australia. And it's the next day, it's Sunday. He has hurt his back. Was he working out at Crunch Fitness or something? Thank goodness. Also, air conditioning in the car. Oh, yeah, you got to have it. Yeah, it's one of those things I don't know what to do with. I have 2 sisters, I don't know. I'm stuck on the bloodline. I'm not going to give that up, but I don't know what to do with the other part. So as I was saying, does that lead us to Love Child of Vernon's or Love Child of Elvis Presley? How old do you think this man is? We have pictures where he looks every bit of 91 years old. And yes, I know there's more than one, but the man who preaches to camera every week and does the concerts and does the recordings, that's all the same man. That's Bob Joyce, Pastor Bob Joyce. But he says he's Robert Wayne Joyce. We would call you Nasty Jack. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I don't know what to do, Katina, you know? I don't want to, I mean, I don't want to perpetrate a myth. You see, a lot depends on keeping the mystery, though, doesn't it? I mean, if you want to have a bigger sanctuary and you want to have people coming that will fill that sanctuary from other countries. Someone said something about 16 countries recently. 16 countries. And a church that's far from Little Rock Airport. That's a commitment in many ways. So, you know, since nobody talks to me and tries to explain this to me, you know, that would be in a position to, I'm left to guess. God knows who is real. That's for sure. And God only knows where I'd be without you. God only knows where I'd be without God. If I don't have God, I don't got nothing. I don't got nothing. All this Bob Joyce stuff ain't worth nothing. It's Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. If I don't have him, then I'm doomed. I'm doomed. Prophecy has to be done like the scripture says. I agree. I've only attended Pentecostal churches sporadically, never as my main church. I've attended churches that were open to the gifts of the Holy Spirit, but you never saw them. I mean, you never, tongues particularly, because they think that that's the only gift. And of course, it's not the only gift. I knew an older couple, says Elaine Peterson, when they would come once in a blue moon, would always stand up and speak in tongues. I always thought that was fishy. Did they do it with the pastor's permission? Was it during prayer time? How was it done? I'm curious. Because let me tell you, there's fakers out there. And boy, I would go sell somebody a lemon used car before I would do something like that involves faking something in the church, you know. Ask Gene Ho. What do you want me to ask Gene Ho, Paulette? Specifically, apparently, Safely Home. Deluxe is on Amazon for pre-order. Well, that's a good move. Because they said I couldn't attend because I had sinned, said Elaine. Then they couldn't attend either. There was only one perfect, and that was Jesus of Nazareth, who was tempted in all things, but yet was without sin. Jeff Parker says, I'm a Baptist. I do believe in talking in tongues, but I don't believe God will allow interruption in church. Yeah, there's got to be an order. If it's tongues in terms of a prophecy, there's got to be an interpretation of what was said. Can the person who decides that they're going to interpret be operating in the flesh? Boy, that's a hard question. The answer is yes, but at the same point, then I think God would want to correct that in real time and have someone stand up and give a real interpretation. But I'm just guessing, you know. God can do what he wants. He could even change his mind. could even change his mind. Some people will disagree. He's locked into what he said. He's no way he could change his mind. Um, but remember, this is the same, cut from the same cloth, God the Father, who said, I wish I had never created man. I wish I had never created man. Moses had to calm God down. Pretty amazing scripture. And then I think Moses thought he had talked God out of wiping the world out except for those on the ark, and God went ahead and did what he wanted to do. That's what God does. He does what he wants to do, not what is interpreted by your denomination. No, Jesus doesn't leave us or forsake um, us. We forsake and leave him. That's how that works. We go off, it's like we're on the potter's wheel. We're on the potter's wheel and we jump right off. We jump right off. I used to think that that's how I got my best exercise, was jumping off the potter's wheel and then climbing back on. The blog is on Bob Joyce Music. Thanks for clarifying that. So you right, are going to send me that. I'll try to get on there because I got to get on there. Enough time has been wasted. We should be told the truth, especially if he is a pastor, says Kenneth Winters. I'm not in disagreement with you, Ken. I'm just more confused than a lady of the evening in Provo, Utah. Probably not the time to use that particular analogy, but yes, they should have kicked everybody out because we are all sinners. We all fall short. If we say we have no sin, I'm talking about current sin here. If we say we have no sin, the truth is not in us. If we say we have no sin, we lie. The truth is not in us. There are many signed Bob Joyce photos for sale on eBay, really. For $1, Australian dollars. 68 US dollars. Isn't that weird? You Australians are weird. You're weird with your money. You're weird with your time. I don't get it. Well, what's your thermostat set at, Elaine Peterson? Pam Donnelly, hey, Jack, whatever happened to Shelley B? Yeah, I was thinking that just the other day. I probably said something that offended her. Or somebody did, but I probably was the one. I don't know. At least when the grand matriarch, Shelley, left the channel, she kind of told me why she was leaving, and I wasn't able to convince her not to. But she had health issues, so pray for Shelley, who gave us our logo that you see here, and other couple of logos that we use. So not of course the lighthouse logo, but the cartoon face of me. Is Bayou Girl here? Is she? All right. Hi, Bayou Girl. What's been going down? She's talking to Elaine Peterson. Everybody loves Elaine. That could be a show right there. Miles Wright hits the thanks button in Taxi Cab Yellow, as he has done a number of times before, for $9.99. Thank you, Miles. We're getting close to the end of the month now. Wednesday will still be part of January. I'm not sad. I'm not sad to see January go. Not around here. If I'm still living in New York next January, you'll find me, if I can't do the cruise, and I've never been able to afford the cruise. Sean wants to get me on staff, but I don't know, with a defibrillator in my chest, I'm going to be security. Am I going to be able to grab someone who's trying to jump from the rail of the boat top deck? Am I going to be able to do that? I don't know. He says, you got to be here next year, and he tells me, he's been telling me all week long, swimming in Aruba with the little fishes on swimming by his feet and tickling his feet and stuff. And because they get some time off, even though they're staff, him and his wife, Norma. He's been telling me how great it is and wonderful, and the great music and everything else that goes with a cruise, which I've never been able to do. And Jimmy's been doing these cruises for decades, folks, for decades. They used to be cheaper, but then again, so was the money you were being paid to do the job. So thank you, Miles Wright, and thank you, Hockey92, for hitting the thanks button that you find right down there. Helps me out as we get close to finishing January out. And next month, I'll be paying taxes on the Cash App tips and anything I've made from Google, anything I've made from Google. 59 watching. Hi, everybody. Here's Christari. Christari is here. Hi, Christari. How you feeling? How you feeling? What's going on? Oh, I saw that picture too, Julia Joyce. By the way, Joyce is your last name. Are you trying to tell us something here? Are you one of the two sisters? Are you? Yeah, I've seen that picture. I've seen that picture when they were supposedly younger, and the woman that's claiming that, telling the story. That whole story was debunked by my competition. I never really tackled it that much, but he has a whole video on what you're talking about. I'm actually promoting Matt now. Have I lost my mind? It could be the year 2525 if man was still alive, if woman can survive. And he would never do that for me, but that's the way it is. Well, I was critical because I felt he was critical, so I kind of did an answer video. Like, remember when Engelbert did the song Release Me? Release me, please, release me, let me go. His first big hit under the name Engelbert Humperdinck, and of course under his real name, which is Jerry Dorsey. He never had any hits there, and he's not related to Tommy Dorsey as far as I know. But has he ever denied being Elvis? Sort of, in that 2017 video, never mentioned Elvis. Some people, he kind of talked around it. He's sure he's played it up and given a lot of hints and things like that over the years, but you could say he's just having fun with the perception that people has. Fair question is, does he want that perception to continue because he wants people to, if the Lord gave him dreams, to reach the world, then it doesn't hurt if people are coming because they think you're Elvis, and once you're there, the Holy Spirit has an opportunity to knock on the door of your heart, and maybe you'll answer. So how are you, Christari? So, it's been kind of a vague denial. And of course, when he was at the first George Magazine live event at the Rainier Hall Theater or whatever it was, he said, you don't need Paul, you don't need Cypress, you don't need Bob Joyce, and you don't need Elvis. You need Jesus. Something like that. That's close to being right. But he did say the last part for sure. Sorry, I'm moving the camera all around here. Oh, you're on the email? Nothing to report?
No.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Here's Brenda Sage. Hello. All, all Arizona in the house. Arizona's in the house. I forget how far you are from Phoenix or if you're in Phoenix. You're not in Tucson, are you? And I know you're not in Flagstaff. I know you're not there. I'm pretty sure. Hey, Jack, 5 days after my son passed, that's right. Brenda Sage told us of the passing of her son a few weeks ago from cancer. The cops found my grandson dead. Oh, dear. In a car in a Cracker Barrel parking lot. He was 26 years old. What do they think happened with your grandson? That's just horrible. Some people get more than their share. People get more than their share. And you know, I used to think of Adam Davidson. Haven't seen Adam here in a while, but he had many maladies, and then accidents, freak accidents happened where he tore his leg with a car door and stuff like that. Um, so Tammy says, Julia, I've seen that picture too, but it's possible it's the real Robert Wayne Joyce. Most of us agree there's more than one guy playing the part. Playing the part. Blue Oyster Cult played under the name Soft White Underbelly in the bar in the back of the fairgrounds. Are you serious? Before they had their first hit, right? I don't know how old you are, Ken, but you're not as old as me, so you weren't going to the Orange County Fair in the 60s, were you? Were you? I was. That's the first place I ever saw Jimmy Sturr, 1969, at a tent. At a tent. And he was in his 20s, and I was 14 years old. I was with me mom. And some of the Candidos. Plug this. I'm going to go over to the computer. I'm going to go over there. So, saw a lot of great music at the Orange County Fair. I mean, in the grandstands, saw the All Four Monkeys. I think Peter Tork was there. At least I think he was. He was the one that would be the most likely not to be there. Eventually, then Mike Nesmith, but then Mike joined Mickey for final reunion tour, but had to stop halfway through because he wasn't feeling well. He died soon after that. Now Bill O'Reilly is sick, stomach issues. He's not saying stomach cancer. He's making it sound like he'll make a recovery, so I hope he does. But he's off the air for a while now. And Dan Bongino returns to the air on my son's birthday, Groundhog Day. The Dan Bongino comes back to the internet, Rumble, whatever. And he's always fun to watch. He's intense. Okay. It looks so white. It's funny. Okay. Hello. I got a little more color now. 48 watching. What, wasn't this stimulating for the other 20? Okay. Jeff loves our channel. Here's Tim. Tim Spencer. I don't think he would mind me saying his full name. I try to be careful. Tammy's in here on the email. I won't read emails, though, that you wrote in private unless you tell me to go ahead and do so. Um, Bill O'Reilly still has a few columns out. The Sum of All Fears, Bill O'Reilly. There's the login. I see it, Tammy. So I can see the screen now. And we thank Elaine for hitting the Cash App as she often does, always does, really, and don't ever feel you have to. Okay, I just lost that. Wait a minute. Please subscribe. I got this. It's hard to maneuver. Okay, we're back. Come on. Don't give me a hard time. Okay. Let me click on that. I don't know if Jeff is here right now. Why is it doing this to me? This bottle's in my way. I'll move that. Okay, I think I figured this out. I figured out how to use a mouse. Oh, I see. See, what they've started to do when they give me Cash App notifications is see the cuckoo clock back there? See the cuckoo clock? What they've started to do is they bunch them all up instead of an individual thing. So I didn't know that Todd Bradshaw last Wednesday night had hit the Cash App until after air. So I immediately sent him an email, and Tammy with an I, same thing. Todd Bradshaw has hit the Cash App for Sunday lunch. Well, we've definitely we're going to be eating in, that's for sure, because by then it should be a whiteout blizzard. So we have plenty of food. Todd hits the Cash App for $25 for Sunday lunch. Thank you so much. Thank you, Todd. Here's Tim Spencer. Hits the Cash App for $10. If you ever want me not to say anything about it, let me know that too, so I just don't inadvertently do it. Thank you, Tim Spencer. Thank you very, very much. And there's Tammy with an I hitting the Cash App for $25. Whether it's $1.99 or whether it's 25, 30, 10, it all is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'm glad I was able to see that, because the way they're doing it now, they're putting it all in one email, and I guess they just add to that email, or if they, I don't know how they do it, but it's different than it used to be. So I can think that it was just one person and there's 3 names under it now. So there you go. Yeah, I think you're right about that, Heather. I think Sabrina's first husband did die in a car accident, and she wrote a song about it, Christmas song. Did you hear that? Uh, I remember hearing the song, wondering who she was talking about. You say it's her first husband, not her father, and I hope that's certainly right. And of course, I hear a squeaky kitty in the background. Hello, Willie. Where are you, Willie? You're way back there, Willie? Pretty soon we'll have to heat up the pad for Nicholas Blair, who's probably in the cat house with Quentin Collins, his brother Quentin Collins. I think they could all fit in there, but they all wouldn't be on the pad, you know. And they have other places they can go next door with the hay and the stuff like that. But the pad lasts for about 5 or 6 hours after we heat it in the microwave for 5 minutes. You take it out of the cloth covering and you put it in the microwave. It's a round disc, and you put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and then put it back in the cloth, and it's good for a while. And of course, they see this as an opportunity. They all come running because they see the porch light on. They come running from where the others are sleeping, and they want food. So, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Tim Spencer. Good-looking guy. Thank you, Todd Bradshaw. It's a dark photo, Todd. I can barely make you out there. And Elaine Peterson, who doesn't give me a picture. Never has. Never has. See the rose? That's part of the birdie picture you usually see when it's summertime, and I use it as a backdrop upstairs. Jesus, Jesus on the CD of his. What were you saying about that, Belinda Taylor? Yeah, I know that's on Coming Home, but he did the song prior to that too. This was his at least his second time singing it. We got a lot to figure out. Oh, we need more cowbell. Well, I don't have any cowbell. So I'll have to get Will Farrell over here with when he had a bigger gut, and he's wearing a shirt 2-3 sizes too small for him. And the great Christopher Walken, of course. So I think we're caught up in the comments. You know, that name, Soft White Underbelly, it is a name that I think I heard somebody say, at least, you know. Excuse me. Elaine says, Jack, I remember when I was a teenager at a youth group, Assembly of God, and a visiting pastor stood up in our group and said, I know who will make it to heaven and who will not. And he looked right at me. That's crazy. Wow. I wish I could use a cough button. I like the skinny rolling recliner, says Neil. Paulette, I asked you a question before, and I forgot what the question was. So where Elvis did write songs, but Parker nixed this info because of the lead writer's contract. So I've never heard that one. It was said people attending the memorial had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Well, you mean the private funeral. TMZ reported that. They reported that. The public memorial happened. TMZ had assumed that Lisa Marie would be buried after it, but no, they had a private funeral coming. So TMZ reported that the funeral would be on the following Friday. And yes, it would be for family and close friends, and you would have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. You could not bring any kind of device, no cell phone, no nothing in there. I don't know if they wanted you going in because they really didn't want anybody capturing audio or capturing video to this private funeral. They didn't want that. And turns out, I think the memorial was on a Saturday, not a Friday. So when TMZ does a story like that, they would always follow up by having cameras out, in this case, outside of Graceland, to capture who was coming in. But if they did do that, they never aired it. They never aired it. So, well, that was always strange to me too, that they never did. But yeah, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And it was shortly after that I was sent the what was supposed to be the official funeral card. I don't have a good copy of it, unfortunately. I could try to do something because other people have put it up, and I didn't put it up at all. I let it go because I thought it was a bridge too far. And sure enough, within 2 or 3 months, other people had it and were putting it up. And at that point, um, I did as well because the cat was out of the bag. And so I probably missed a viral video by not putting it up first. And of course, on this funeral card, it said the person officiating the funeral and preaching the eulogy was Pastor Bob Joyce from Rolling Hills. Rolling Hills. Um, before before Pastor before Elvis Presley was said to have died in August of '77, about 6 months before, he bought his father, Vernon, a home in a development called Rolling Hills. But soon before uh, the alleged passing of Elvis Presley, Elvis sold that house in Rolling Hills. So that's all I know about Rolling Hills. Oh, he only mentions one sister in the blog, not two. But there's a picture going around where he is supposedly with two sisters. But we do know more than one guy plays the part. Well, uh, there's lookalikes. There's Robert Wayne Joyce, and then there's Pastor Bob Joyce. So, as I've said many times, I can't get in my brain to the point that the picture we're seeing a young Sabrina with the black hair, black beard, black mustache, and around 1980 for Sabrina, or even the gentleman that is pictured in at her wedding. I can't get to the place where I see that as the current pastor of Household of Faith. That's just my take, not just my take, but you know what I mean. So to camera, as far I have never seen it be anybody but the same man, the man who looks like Elvis Presley. Ah. Elvis, Jesse, Tony, they insist this is Pastor Bob and Johnny. Yeah, I've heard those people. I've heard those people, the Four Brothers theory. Um, there's one more besides Elvis, Jesse, and Tony. And Johnny, yeah. So I don't put any validity in that. I like the cowbell, says Ken Winters. Calvin says we're going to see Kansas in Biloxi next weekend. Now, who's going to be there? My man Kerry Livgren going to be there. The lead singer was so good. What was his name back when they had the hits? They also did a great song called The Wall. Nothing to do with Pink Floyd. Another song called The Wall, and that is a great Kansas song. A great Kansas song, I tell you. So thank you all those that hit the Cash App. That's lowercase letters Media Guy 56 MEDIAGUY 56 Media Guy 56. Can you believe it? We've been on just about an hour and 45 minutes from my cell phone. I wonder what I can't see how much juice I got left. I can plug in, but Um, so that ought to be great. I was a huge Kansas fan back in the day, Calvin. Of course, some of that was when I was kind of into Eastern religion before I became born again in '84. Um, but many of their songs spoke to me, and always wanted to see them and never did. It's a confusing story, Julia. It's a confusing story, and it seems like it will remain that way. So, what did you want me to ask Gene Ho specifically? Are you buried in the snow yet, Jack? No, it hasn't started. I think somewhere they've changed it so many times, you know. Um, First, it was going to start about 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., then 6 a.m. Now I'm hearing 8 a.m. They're sticking with that one. We'll see. And it'll go into Monday. It'll go into Monday. And he's got three snow blowers. He's got the little one, which is the new one. Um, Probably won't be using much of that tomorrow or Monday, whenever. He's got a medium one that's old, and he's got the Big Ben. He just had to replace the belt on that one. That's for the that'll be for tomorrow. Hopefully the belt won't break again. Maybe he's got a backup belt this time. That would be a smart idea to have a backup belt, because if you're in the middle of a foot and a half of snow and your belt breaks and the medium one's going to struggle and the little one will be useless, you want to have that extra belt, you know. That's all Andy's job there. He does a wonderful job. He also helps three neighbors out, and they pay him, you know, they pay him. And so he's out there for hours. He's out there for hours. And when it's cold like this, he's got to come in and warm up sometimes. Katina says, I read a long article today about Elvis and Bob. It was written by a journalist that has watched him a few years. I'm still not convinced of anything for sure. I'd sure like to see a copy of that article, Katina. Um, when did Pastor Bob meet Willina? Anyone? When did they actually meet? If they married in 1975, when did they meet? Yeah, Julia Joyce wants to know what the gist was. What was the gist, Katina? I've been on for a while. It's hard for me to see and keep up with the comments. So if I miss, this is what happens to me, Katina. This is what happens to me. Jack, we are the church. We are the world. We have Jesus in us. It's not a building, but that also dovetails into the fact that, well, obviously, you just told us about a terrible experience you had at church. That would turn me off too. But that was just one church and one idiot, you know, one church and one idiot. Um, no one has the right to tell someone, they can say, if you don't accept Jesus as your personal savior in your heart, it's a heart experience. If you don't do that, then you're not a Christian. That's true. But for him to know whether you are or not, um, he doesn't have the right to make that determination. He can't look at your heart. He can't look at your heart. Only God can look at our heart to know whether we are or we aren't. You know, um, I remember being in a church where I kind of liked her, and I certainly liked her husband more so. Knew him a little bit, and sometimes she would bring her grandchild to church. Well, for some reason, I had to leave the service and go out to my car to get something. Maybe it could be something as simple as a cough drop. I don't know. But she was out there towards the side cursing out her grandson for not behaving. I thought, wow. And she was the first to speak in tongues and stuff like that, during prayer time, but quietly to herself. You're doing meth, Katina? Oh no, that's not good. Yes, I'm sorry you're doing it too, Katina. I know I'm misreading that or something. I heard an interview with the Delta, with that Delta Elvis's aunt several years ago. She said both twins were born alive. Vernon and Gladys gave one away. Oh, that's the story of the Identical, right? The Identical. That's the movie plot for the Identical. But I have heard people say that, yeah, because they could not afford to keep it because they were so poor. Yeah, watch the movie The Identical, and you'll see that play out before your eyes. Christina Wilburn, hey, good evening, everybody. I'm not sure if we heard from Patrick, from my husband and me. Okay, I almost thought I had heard from Patrick. I'm so welcome both Christina and Patrick Wilbur. I can't see the chat. I don't know what's going on my phone. I'd be really clueless. Your chat says 100 plus watching, and mine says 52. Can that be? I saw an interview with an older woman who knew the Presleys, and the pastor asked if people could help the Presleys as they had twins and needed the help. And needed the help. Sounded to me Jesse lived. Yeah, well, I don't know what to do with that either. It's just one of those things. So is that going to be our final conclusion that the pastor of Household of Faith is Jesse Presley? 10 degrees now, feels like 1 in Scranton, PA. Oh, that's right, Paulette. You're going to join us on what is it, April 11th, a Saturday, at the casino to see Jimmy Stir, Polka Sean, and Norma will be there if all goes well. And I think it's 2:00 in the afternoon till 5, something like that, at the casino in Wilkes-Barre. That's a week before Polka weekend, which they are going to. Doesn't look like I'm going to. Aunt Delta said both twins lived. Yeah. Brenda Sage. Yep, Jack, I'm here. Was 20 minutes late, but I'm here. I've commented 4 times now. Well, I did mention something you said, I thought, but I don't know. Sometimes I lose my place. I'm going out to lunch with 2 ladies I used to work with. I haven't been out in a long time with old friends. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to bring up Jesus in my conversation. Tammy Paul, I thought they were married in 1975, but I'm not sure. That's what the birth certificate. That's what the marriage certificate says. Was it July? I can't remember the month now. Married in Texas in 1975. I've heard stories that Robert Wayne Joyce was a pastor. Perhaps in the Methodist Church. They moved to Arkansas at some point. And the Bob Joyce that we see preaching didn't seem to materialize to, on our video screens, 2011. His first church was a home fellowship with John Cook in 2010. But it says he got his diploma, his licensed to preach in the 80s. So what did he do all that time? If his first church was a home fellowship in 2010, there's so much of this in this story. Well, I don't think I'm going to pronounce all of this. Charmaine. Hi, Charmaine. You're a demon hunter? Excuse me, I don't have my cough button tonight. Since I'm on my phone. Hi, Jack. You're melting in Australia. So I hear. Sydney and can't swim in our beaches due to shark attacks? Really? Oh my goodness. It would be more like a hot tub, wouldn't it be? Your beach would be more like a hot tub. Haven't seen him in the bowling alley. Looked closed last week, yeah. Yeah, there was some problem with the bar at one point. They had a fight in the parking lot, pretty serious fight. And they blame them for that. I don't know. This is the problem when you own an establishment. I'm saying good night, sweet dreams, and prayers to everyone. Help us all in the name of Jesus. He will never leave or forsake us. Amen. Amen. Have to leave. Bye all. Thank you, Helen from Australia. Brenda Sage says, where did you get that info? Aunt Delta said both twins lived. Yeah. Well, that didn't come from me, of course. That was someone else here. Well, you know the old sermon, Elaine, be careful because the old sermon is, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one. Any day, I'd rather see a sermon. Isn't it great when someone tells you, wow, you seem to have a real peace about you? Where's that come from? Of course, that's hard to get that kind of question because they might know how you would respond and they don't want to hear it. Like the show In Search Of, that sounds familiar, Ken. Paulette, he was also in prison, according to him. Who was also in prison? Pastor Bob? You'd have to point me towards the sermon and the date because I never heard that one unless you're talking about Jesse was in prison. Who? See how crazy this story gets? Oh, Danny was, yeah. How you say that? Danny Trejo, who has that show that's kind of like William Shatner's. Not as good, but nobody's as good as William Shatner. He's a fan of yours, huh? He even asked to get a picture and to make a video with me. Well, you're going to have to prove that by sending me that email. Well, look at this. Marianne Rossi, not Donna Rossi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you feeling? We never got to hear how Chris Starry was feeling. What about you, Marianne Rossi? How's things with you? Have you regained all your strength to walk and everything? Jack, I listened to KC and the Sunshine Band. Give It Up. Do they have a song, Give It Up? Or are you saying KC is no good? Well, they've sold millions and millions and millions of records, and in 2026, they still play fairly big places. You know, they don't play MSG unless they were part of like 5 or 6 groups or something. And then Please Don't Go, that duet that Harry Casey, because that's his name, Harry Casey did, is really nice as well. He's done a few ballads, you know. We're waiting for that storm. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. You can feel the cold air in this house. Even the heat's not, you know, running right now. We don't have radiators that kind of keep it warm all the time. But it's, I just can't wait for this to move on. Here's Claude. How are you, Claude? How are you doing? Where are you? Are you in the path of the storm? Did I lose my... No, I didn't. We are certainly in the path of the storm, maybe by somewhere in the overnight or maybe as late as 8 a.m. is when it will start. And Polka Sean and Polka Norma will dock in Fort Lauderdale around 7 a.m. They had a 2 o'clock flight. That's canceled. They moved it to Monday. That's canceled. So now they may not get to go out till like Wednesday or even Thursday, because Wednesday's filling up too. So some of the Jimmy Sturr Orchestra will be stuck in Florida, and that's a lot better than being stuck in South Dakota this time of year. As much as I would enjoy seeing South Dakota in the summer, even though Kristi Noem isn't there. Rush. Jack, I'm finished with both estates, says Miles. I was handling. So I thought you were already finished. So you were doing 2? And what was the coolest thing you saw there? You don't have to tell me any, details of the estate, of course. Rush, as in Rush Limbaugh? I don't know. This is just a fireside chat minus the fire. Heat's coming on, thank goodness. Pretty soon I have to change the cat's heating pad for their house. Miss Rush. Miss Rush? Oh, you miss Rush. I got it. Oh, I can certainly relate. Every once in a while I watch something here on YouTube because they post fairly regularly these days. And I was an avid fan when I moved to Rock Hill, South Carolina in 2008 with my second wife. I worked security at a truck place, Carolina Cargo, and being able to hear Rush made me feel like I wasn't so far away from home, Driving to work, my shift, I'd be hearing Rush, and then I'd hear him in the guardhouse, and it was like it was family. The greatest of all times in terms of a radio talk man, in my opinion. Talent on loan from God. Rush Limbaugh with one hand tied behind my back just to make it fair. And of course, early on, he would call the liberal women feminazis, and that earned him a lot of enemies back then with liberal women. But of course, it was stuff like that got him noticed and led to him becoming the most successful talk show host on the radio with, at his peak, 25 million listeners. 25 million listeners. Not sure where you are, Claude, but we're getting snow, and I don't know who you're talking to either. I guess Todd Bradshaw said that he's in his part of Tennessee, the storm will miss them. Isn't that wonderful news? Pam Inslee says, good night, early morning. I understand, Pam. Thank you so much. I don't know where you're watching from, but thank you so much. Michelle Obama could never wear pants like that. Whose pants are we talking about, Elaine, that she would not wear for what some would say are obvious reasons? And I would be listening to you when I was at work, really? Where did you work, Ken? I'm curious. Don't tell me you worked over at Strick. Remember Strick Trucking? The guy on the other side of the wall, I just realized that he's on the other side of the wall, and here I am blabbing away. I'm either bothering him when I'm upstairs above him, or now I'm on the other side of the wall, and he's probably, I never thought of that till right now. But then what's he doing in bed so early? He's not going anywhere tomorrow. If he does, he'll regret it, because it's going to be icy as well. Belinda talking to Elaine. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Yes. After Dan Rather got asked that question, he got socked in the jaw by this guy. I'll tell you what. Did you catch the latest Pastor Bob talking about Jesus Saves? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Did he write the song? What year is the song from? What age would that make him? Uh, Elvis didn't write songs, but some people say he did, but it was kept on the QT. Um, yeah, 92.7. We started off as, well, it started off as Wall FM. I don't know if I was on when it was Wall FM. That was just before me. And then it became 92K, 92 Karat Gold with Cousin Brucey. And I started off as the overnight guy. The first evening guy was a guy named Jim Perry. Jim Perry. He was the overnight guy on Wall. And now he's going to be the evening guy on 92 Rock 7, the AM and FM of split. There's something else going on more for the older adults on AM. And they give Jim Perry the 8 to midnight shift. And us jocks, we made sure Jim Perry never heard us, but we were saying, can you believe they gave 8 to midnight on this brand new station to Jim Perry? Nice guy, real nice guy. Awful on the air, awful. I don't know that he ever got better. Some jocks started off terrible and got better, or even great. But he didn't last too long on there. They pulled him off, because he was doing overnights on Wall, and he was just terrible. But you can get away with it on overnights. But I think he replaced a jock named Sundance, who had a phenomenal audience. Cousin Brucey's announcer that he would use for a lot of things would do Sundance's opening. She's warm. She's lovely. Here's Sundance. She was every bit of that. This beautiful blonde woman who had a lot to do with me getting the courage to send in an audition tape to Cousin Bruce Morrow. A legend, from WABC and other New York stations before that. And eventually WNBC. And then he and Bob Sillerman would buy a bunch of radio stations. But Wall was first. And Sundance said, I told her I only had worked at one station up in Fredonia, New York, and then went to California and lived for over a year. And she said, well, send the tape because I think they have Sunday nights open. They're looking for somebody. You can do it. Send the tape. And I did. And the next thing, I'm with Jim Fry, the program director, and I'm almost trying to talk him out of giving me the job because the thought of working for Cousin Brucey, who you have to understand, he had Cousin Brucey's Cruise in America, was heard all over the world. In his later, he was on CBS FM for years, Saturday nights and Wednesday nights. And then he went to Sirius XM for 14 years, also Wednesday and Saturday nights. But before the Sirius XM days, but after the CBS FM days, he and Bob Sillerman bought these radio stations, including the one at the Castle. And so the thought of working for him was just unfathomable. It's like, getting a call from, Leonardo DiCaprio or something to be in his latest movie. So I went up there and Jim said, he had to talk me into it. And so, all right, let's go meet Bruce. He's down the hall in the production studio. And that was an amazing moment in my life as this 6'4" man with this huge hand extended his hand and said, Jack, I understand you're going to be doing Sunday nights. Welcome to the family. And he shook my hand. It was was just like I was in some kind of a fantasy land. And then he said the worst thing he could have said. He says, "So, Sunday night, I'll be listening." Thank God Jim Fry was behind me the whole time that first night, because I was shaking like a leaf. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Great stories, great memories from 92 Rock 7, 92 Carat Gold before that. Just wonderful times and some naughty times, I got to be honest with you. My very first real girlfriend was from that station, Karen DiPolito. Wall News, lives in Utah now. Karen DiPolito was my first girlfriend. She was the one, you know what I'm saying? And so I say I began with a Karen and I end with a Karen. Elaine, I love Casey and the Sunshine Band. So we're actually past 2 hours. It's amazing. I don't have my Bible with me. Please pray for Brenda Sage has asked for prayer in the past. I mean, look at the loss that she's had there. We talked about that earlier tonight. I remember that. And Katrisa and Christari, who has cancer, was here for just a little bit. Keep Christari in your prayers. Adam Davidson, Ted Richards. Haven't heard from him in a dog's age. And I don't know about Shelley B up in Canada. Don't know. Things happen. And I don't always get informed of what the story is. So there you go. That's our pop on to pop off, our fireside chat minus the fireside for Saturday night. We'll probably check back with you Wednesday. We may have a pre-recorded video. Watch the beginning as we talk about some of the frustrations in the Bob Joyce story. I guess the concert now, the benefit concert, and they're all benefit concerts, that Sabrina has something to do with is now going to be in May, and it's going to be, unless this gets changed again, in Cabot, Arkansas, which is 26 miles outside of Little Rock, 26 miles outside. So there you go. And I don't know when tickets will be on sale. If it's the Baptist church that I looked at, there's only 150 seats. So what can I tell you? 2 more concerts supposed to be happening this year in 2026, though. Please be safe. Don't drive in this weather. Don't drive in this weather. If you're in the storm area, there's going to be ice and such. Stay home. And I know some people work in jobs where they're essential, but if somebody has to do a double shift, they have to do a double shift. My personal email is jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy@gmail.com. Have a good night, everybody, or a good evening if you're in Australia. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.